with the squad once again throwing the Catholics back off the British Isles. In 1098, Seal would make the fateful decision to switch to house seniority succession, would bring King Andreas to heel, ready to cede control of Bavaria. Bacon Sealson ascends the throne young and full of life. Already fighting a war of his own in Ireland, he also inherits the war for Sicily from his mother. Rather than deal with the Irish, Bacon returns the Irish throne to his younger brother Seal, and then quickly finishes the conquest of Sicily. As traditional in the Squad Empire, Bacon would have little time to settle into the throne before the King of Burgundy decided it was time to lead an independence rebellion. Having learned the lesson well from the Empress, Bacon would immediately set about raiding the capitals of the rebellious vassals. Some happy news would come during the rebellion with the birth of Bacon's first son, Flame, which was immediately followed by another Squad tradition, rebellious Catholics. Rumor would come that King Ascleton of England was considering a rebellion of his own. Rather than allow this to go forward, Bacon reached into the royal coffers and paid Ascleton a bribe to try and smooth things over. In 1113, after successfully storming the capital of Wales, a white peace was declared with the independence faction, allowing Bacon to focus on the Catholic uprising. A year spent chasing Catholics around the empire wouldn't keep Bacon from the marriage bed, and in 1114, the Empress would present a fourth son named Gamecam, and the rebellion would be squashed a few months later. After a swift and decisive campaign, Bacon would add another Italian duchy to the empire in 1116. A few tranquil years later, Burgundy would once again rise in rebellion in 1119. During the rebellion, third branches of the Dobsonium and Aussy lines would be formed. Once the appropriate capitals had been sacked, Mauger of Burgundy once again signed a white peace to maintain the fragile status quo of the empire. In 1123, the heir to the empire, Flame, would fall ill with typhus. After sending for and hiring a physician, the decision was made to be very cautious with his treatment. Luckily, everything would work out and Flame would go back to learning at his father's knee how to lead the empire. His son healed and the internal tensions all quelled. In 1125, Bacon would decide it was time to really make the Catholics pay for the years of crusades and rebellions, and declare war to conquer Rome itself. At the Battle of Agmone, 20,000 Catholic troops would face the might of the empire. After the battle, only 13,000 would limp away in retreat. The next major clash would come at Tivoli, where a further 7,000 Catholics would be laid to rest. The last major battle would take place at Urbino, where 10,000 Catholics faced 30,000 pagans, which went predictably bad for the Pope's forces. In 1127, Squad forces would capture Rome itself, and just a few months later, the hatless Pope would surrender Rome to the mightiest pagans in Europe. Bacon II would be granted all of the newly acquired lands. By 1129, the Doreen branch had formed a fourth branch, securing their legacy for all time. And Flame would proudly introduce his own heir, Alimentum, to the court. With the death of one pope, Bacon would declare war on the next, quickly gobbling up even more papal lands. These new lands would be granted to Gamecam. Cam would lose control of these lands, but in 1135, newly reacquired territories in Aquitaine would be given to him to ensure a strong footing. 1136 would see the formation of the Leo branch, as well as the Ray branch. Once more into the breach, 1138 would see Bacon continue pressing to expel the Pope from Italy. The Bob line would form a branch of their own as the war draws to a close. But in 1141, the unthinkable would happen, and Bacon Orios was murdered while out at sea. Flame quickly claims the throne at a mere 28, and does what every good squad mate should, declare war on the Pope. After a swift victory at Luni and then Pisa, the Pope quickly ceded his last duchy to the empire. A great feast was held to celebrate the victory. Unfortunately, an ambitious distant uncle decided it was time to end the unbroken succession of eldest sons, poisoning Flame's wine and claiming the empire for himself. With the lines of succession scattered, the empire quickly fell as well. Germania and Francia would break away first, followed a decade later by Italia and Britannia. Bacon II would continue to rule in Romagna, whilst Flame Jr. and Down Dean would disappear into obscurity. The Doreen lineage would continue to thrive, holding the Welsh throne, Mercia, and holdings in Frisia. Leo became the Emperor of Germania. The Aussies hold the thrones of both Burgundy and France, plus the Duchy of Anjou for good measure. Waxu continues to hold Champagne. The Poly line still rules in Flanders, as well as Gelre and Salerno. The Hoodle branches hold no kingdoms, but control multiple duchies to include Poitiers, Upper Burgundy, and Carizia. The Franks held the Crown of England, the Duchy of Northumbria, and the Duchy of Verona. Dobsonian branches rule in Nordgau, the Duchy of Thuringia, the Duchy of Berry, and the Duchy of Orleans. The Noctem branch holds the Lower Lorraine, the Gus branch holds the Duchy of Romagna, the Bob branch holds Piedmont in northern Italy, the Ray branch holds Upper Lorraine, the Cam branch holds Armagnac, the Chewy branch holds the Sardinian crown, and also joined with the Waxu branch to hold Brittany. That's all we have for the FoddSquad Dynasty, but if you've enjoyed this journey, be sure to subscribe as we'll be starting another adventure soon.